Keynote by Alex Tomic.
We've been asked a lot, and we see a lot, why are there so many aggregators coming up on the market lately? I mean, if you remember before, you barely had every matrix. You had Herb88, you had Relax, and now today you have a new aggregator coming up every 2 or 3 months. It's just out of necessity. There's a bottleneck. We have so many software providers. We have probably one new software provider every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. We have more than 20,000 games. How do they do to integrate all these software providers, if they would wish to, and why would they wish to? So first, why do we need, as operators, to integrate as many software providers? You don't want to miss out a No Limit City. You don't want to miss out a Push Gaming or a Big Time Gaming. And you don't know if this software provider is going to be good before you put it on your website. I remember very well being in Las Vegas 7 years ago. Nick Robinson, the founder of Big Time Gaming, is sitting next to me. He said, I want to show you something. And he pulled out his phone and he shows me Bonanza. And the graphics were crappy. The music is banjo behind. And I say, man, you're not going anywhere with that. It looks like a game that has been developed in the early 2000s. I said, no, I think you're wrong. This is the next Gonzo killer. I say, yeah, good luck with that. And you see where he is. And I consider myself as a game specialist. I know about slots. However, when I saw Bonanza, I couldn't see the hits. Well, my point here is that you see all these new softwares coming out, and sometimes you could think it's not worth it, but I don't know. Look what's happening in Brazil now with Fortune Tiger. From PG Soft. Who would have ever imagined that a Chinese software, a Chinese game, would be the #1 game in Brazil, generating around, my estimation, 200 million GGR per month? There's no way to figure that out. So what we can do is, when we see a new software provider, we see the team. Look what Relax did. They took Simon Hammond from NetEnt, CPO, Daniel Escola, also from Unimet. He was CPO too. And you think, okay, something's going to happen here. It took them around 12 months and Money Train came out. And now I think we just got Money Train 4, the last game of this sequel that just came out. And we know the huge success they had. Okay, you can predict that when you see the team. When you see the people, you can. But when you see this small software provider, and I remember meeting No Limit City 6-7 years ago in an hotel room during ICE, and these guys are in front of me, and I think they were coming from Common, if I remember well. And we said, okay, we're going to try it. And it worked. And again, there was no way to predict that. Now, apart from that, there's something I want to tell you. How many operators do we have in the room? Could you raise your hand? Operators? Okay, related to game, that are working with game content? Okay. How many software providers do we have? None. Okay. 2, okay, same. So, when you start an operation, it's like launching a rocket on the moon. I was an affiliate before, and we started building our own platform in 2012 with Slots Million. And we had to learn about acquisition, we had to learn about retention, we had to learn about support, tech, product, regulation when we entered UK. It's so complex, there's so many departments, there's so many skills to build, there's so many different talents to attract in the company that you can't do everything. We were developing our own game gateway. We were developing our own payment gateway. We were developing even our own chat. And at some point, you understand that you need to work with third parties. You can't be good at everything. And on the other side, we've got these small studios that are coming out on the market. They're not pragmatic. They're not evolution. They don't have 10 years behind them. They didn't have the time to grow. They didn't have the time to develop these skills about APIs. It's entertainment. They build games. However, if you think about it, we are the only industry with the banking industry where there's money in and money out. So when there's something wrong going into these APIs, there's three parties that are impacted: the operator, the player, and the software provider. And most of the time, who's losing the money? The operator. Because within the party of the players, you have hackers. And you have a lot of them lately, especially with crypto casinos. So the status is that we have a lot of new studios coming out on the market. They try to make good games, and they can't be good at APIs. And on the other side, we have casinos that are integrating their APIs. I know very few casinos that build their own gaming APIs and that give it to the software provider. And there's one thing I would like to emphasize today, apart from the fact that you should choose a technological partner like us and work with a game aggregator, is build as a casino, build your own API, build a secure, robust API, and give this API to the software providers. You should not delegate that to them. You should not try to speak 100, 150 different languages. You should speak one language and they should speak your language, because at the end of the day, the liability is on you, not on them. It's your operation. So what's going to happen? You have your product, you have your development team, and your rock stars, the last thing they want is to work on APIs. They want to work on front end. They want to work on back end. They want to do these cool features, the thing that people are going to see and they're going to be recognized for. They don't want to do the boring stuff. So you're going to have all the new guys coming in, and they will have like this ritual of passage when they come inside the company, which is like integrate one game provider and then another one, and then another one. And you don't build this inside knowledge. And basically you have rookies or even good developers. When they have the time, they're going to work on APIs. The problem is that there's going to be a mistake. And the problem is that a mistake in the API is not like a mistake that you have on the front of your page, like when it's happened on the front end. If you have a mistake on the front end or even on the back end, it reflects immediately on the website. You see it. If it happens in an API, it's completely invisible because it is an intangible product. And that's the tragedy there, is that you're going to think, okay, it doesn't matter because this little software provider is just 1% of my GGR. It's not about exposure. The hackers are going to find them. They're going to look for them for each software release, for each game release. They're going to go, they're going to look after it on your website, on a competitor's website, find the hack on the competitor's website, come on your website, exploiting it there, and then funneling the money through other software providers so your fraud and financing can't see it. Okay? So we need to raise our standards in APIs. We need to understand that we are one of the very few industries with the banking industry where there's money in and money out. We need to understand that when there's a problem happening in the API, it's not like I'm on a Spotify, I want to listen to Taylor Swift, and I got the Rolling Stones, too bad. No, money is lost. Someone lost money. We see these hacks every week. I'm just talking about latest one, 2 million euros liability on a software provider just on a weekend, 2 million euros. But it's a lot of money we're talking about. So not only we need to raise our standards in APIs, but we need to create API governance. We need to understand that what's at the heart of our gaming operations are games. And games are ruled by APIs. So let the studio do the magic. Let the studio create amazing games, but the liability of creating a good API is on the casino side. It's on the operation, because at the end of the day, you're going to face the player and you're going to face the regulator. Or choose a technological partner that's going to do that for you the same way you took a payment gateway. Let's say you didn't develop the payment gateway yourself. Most of us did. Most of us didn't do that. We take a payment gateway for that. And it's the same thing for the game gateway.